on the Barn Burner Network and ZINGOTV channel 250. Just want to remind you offhand to please download our applications on both Android and iOS on the respective stores. As well, remember the applications are completely free, so there is no reason why you shouldn't download them. Let's remind you that to leave us please a comment and a rating on the application and the shows. We always want to hear at Barn Burner from our audience to see if the applications are working correctly so we can improve them, or with regards to our programming to see if you are enjoying it, both Spanglish Sports World and all our programming, so that we can improve that as well for you. Let's remind you as well that ZINGOTV can be found on Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire and Amazon Fire TV sticks, and on all TVs, Roku sticks, and on all smart TVs 2016 and forward. Well, I am waiting for my co-host, John Freeman Nelson, to pop up on the screen any moment. He's just finishing another show on another network, on the OSG network. So let's start by starting through the recap of what will be, we'll start through South America, and we'll go into the games between Bahia and Defensa Justicia in the Copa Sudamericana. So this was a real interesting game on Wednesday evening. Surprisingly, Defensa y Justicia came from behind to defeat Bahia, and it's impressive. Now we have a possible exit if Bahia doesn't come up with a win in their following game, and no Brazilian teams will be involved in the championship round of the tournament. The next game was on Wednesday evening as well. Coquimbo defeats Junior FC. It's unbelievable. That was a match that, although it was exciting defensively and offensively for both squads, there were controversies, like tremendous controversies with regards to the refereeing. It's time for CONMEBOL to actually start looking at what's happening with their refereeing, what's happening, why they are not using anything. And here he is, the guru of soccer around the world.
That's Jason. That is not me. I'm but a mere piece to the puzzle, sir.
So I was just talking right now with our audience about the games in the Copa Sudamericana.
Sure.
Starting with Bahia against Defensa Justicia.
Oh, my boys from Defensa y Justicia.
Oh, it was unbelievable. I really enjoyed that match. I don't know if you got a chance to watch it, but it was just unreal.
Well, I mean, considering where Defensa has come from in the last handful of seasons to where they are now, and you know, you're in the Copa Sudamericana, and we kind of adopted them on Soccer Down Here as one of our favorite teams, because when you had Bekasese as your manager, and if you haven't seen Bekasese on the sideline, and how completely and totally styling he is, you know, there was a result that happened, I want to say last week, And I mean, Bekasese, he is wearing the suit. He's got the skinny slacks. He's got the button-down shirt down to about the third button. He's styling. He's got everything back in the ponytail. And when they get the result, Bekasese hits the turf, and I mean, he is just on the turf, flat, and he is celebrating. I mean, that's why we've adopted Defensa as one of our clubs. But you know, a couple days ago when they went up against Bahia, they were a decided underdog. Crunching the numbers, Bahia was a plus 127 in the composite, and Defensa was about twice that. And when you get a 5-goal thriller and Defensa gets the Duke 3-2, I mean, it's cool for us to see, considering how we've been following them along these last couple of seasons.
So they have the return match leg 2 next Wednesday.
Yep.
Bahia has a very tough call because they are going now into Defensa y Justicia Stadium to try to win. So it could be the first time that a Brazilian team doesn't get to the final round of the Copa Sudamericana.
And I mean, you know, Defensa knocked out Vasco in the round previous. Now that they're in the round of 8, in the quarters, you're looking at Coquimbo with their first leg victory over Junior. You're looking at Católica knocking off Vélez, and I know that a lot of folks in Atlanta have been paying attention to Vélez Sarsfield recently because of Gabriel Heinze and the possibility that he could be the new manager. And Independiente and Lanús, I think a lot of folks were thinking that one's going to be your heavyweight battle. That was a goalless first leg. And if there's any way that I can figure out a way to catch it, I'm going to catch as many of these as possible for their second legs. Right now, Católica and Vélez, that one is coming up. Let's see, today's the 12th, 13th, Tuesday. So Tuesday is Católica and Vélez. Vélez is a slight underdog going into Católica. Defensa is a decided favorite at home in leg 2. Coquimbo Junior is a slight favorite on Wednesday, and then you've got Independiente, who's a big favorite at home against Lanús, coming to town on Thursday. So could Defense is this close to getting in the Final Four of the Copa Sudamericana, and that's going to be fun.
So I want to continue with South America a little bit.
Sure.
Look at the games of Libertadores, because those games were really interesting, especially the first game on Tuesday, Palmeiras against Libertad. And it surprised me, the play of Palmeiras. They got a red card on a play that was not even supposed to happen.
Well, I mean, all right. So let's go ahead and start the black helicopters up here in the 10th minute of the show. When it comes to these competitions, as you watch, because I admit that I'm kind of new to watching Copa Sudamericana and Copa Libertadores. Having it as a part of my regular viewing habit. So when you have an incident like that, as someone who has seen these games as much as you have, how surprised are you that it happened?
Well, I am not surprised that it happened. I am surprised how it happened, because it was on a play that was not even a close call. And what surprised me more was that the referee just didn't want to hear anything about it and just walked away from the play.
Okay.
That doesn't happen in South American soccer ever. That a referee walks away from a situation. I don't know if they are being told now by CONMEBOL different instructions, but it just surprised me. The 1-1 result, I thought Libertad would have had a better chance at home.
But they were a massive home dog, though.
Yeah. I mean, it was crazy. Like, I was surprised. Was very surprised. The second game of that of that week was the game between Gremio and Santos, probably one of the greatest games in Copa Libertadores. Two Brazilian teams playing for dignity of the country.
Right.
And Santos played a game that I am not accustomed to. I am
Yeah.
a fanatic of Santos. With Pele in the audience, they played a lousy game.
Yeah.
Really lousy game.
I mean, Gremio going in was a minus 154 favorite, and Santos as an underdog, a plus 474. That's what you were getting into with this particular match. That is a crazy disparity for me. But Gremio it was only a 1-1 draw when you had a 620 juice box difference between the two clubs going in. I mean, that for Gremio to only get a 1-1 draw when you're as decided a favorite as you are, that's got to speak to one of two things: either Santos playing out of their minds or Gremio laying an egg.
Yeah, that's for sure. And the last game of Copa Libertadores that was played was the River Plate Nacional.
Wait a minute, you got Boca and Internacional that was played later that night.
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
You got Boca and Internacional that was played later that night, and it went to penalties. And when Jason and I were talking about it, and Jason said, and Jason admitted, and you cannot change his mind otherwise, that the ghost of Diego Armando Maradona was not impacting this match at all, considering that Internacional, just unbelievable stuff where it goes to penalties and it's 1-1. So I still look at the ghost of Maradona making an impact in a lot of different things.
For sure. So there is the other game, Boca Juniors against Racing Club, being played this coming Wednesday.
Right.
That's going to be a juicy game. It was a suspended game from last round.
Right.
So it's going to put Racing in a big, difficult situation going into Boca Stadium.
Yeah.
And I don't wish anyone going into Boca because
no, it's, even though there are no fans right now going into La Bombonera. For me, when I get to watch those kind of matches in those kind of environments, those arenas that are just part of the fabric of the sport across the board. And I would recommend, if you haven't seen a match there, if you haven't seen Libertadores, if you haven't seen Boca and River play, if you ever see across your bow the chance to see Boca and River go at it, and it's on TV and it's accessible for you, watch it, just because of the fierceness that you have between the two clubs. Carlos Tevez is probably about 712 years old and still does things for Boca that are tremendous. And obviously after the passing of Maradona, when they had the first match back at La Bombonera, and his daughter was in their box, the family private box, and was there watching the first match back, you sensed the emotion, you sensed how the family and the fabric are intertwined when it comes to to Maradona and Boca Juniors. And so if you have a chance to see a match that involves Boca Juniors and River, do it. That's all I can say.
So let's move a little bit more north of the border, and we are now going to touch CONCACAF.
Oh, and we have the full hour because we're good to go. So you don't have to go as quickly as we have.
Okay. Oh, great. No college football this weekend?
Well, no, not for that particular show. There is college football. We got Army Navy at 3:00, but it's that's going to be the big one at 3:00. But it's you and me, bud.
All right, awesome. So let's go to CONCACAF because there is some big matches coming up, especially one that you are going to be deeply interested in on on the Wednesday, and that is Club America at Atlanta.
Yeah.
Uh, how is Atlanta getting ready for that one?
Well, I mean, right now it's it's a 3-0 deficit going into the second leg, but the thing is for Atlanta, it is something that you're looking at as it's almost like a bowl game for college football teams because you're getting those extra practices, you're getting all of those extra reps with your guys. You're giving the chance for some of the folks from Atlanta United to the opportunity to get some reps with the first team who may even feature in this particular match. You don't know how Club America is going to be addressing this match. They got knocked out in the first round of the playoffs in the Apertura in the Guardianes in Liga MX. Uh, uh, Jonah Dos Santos, I don't think is going to be a part of the roster that's going to be playing in this particular match. So it's going to be an interesting give and take here. How seriously does Club America take it? How seriously does Atlanta United want to sit there and address what they can do in this? What happens if Atlanta United gets a couple of goals midweek? Is it first and foremost? Is it like if they get one, does Miguel Herrera kind of sit there and go, yeah, maybe I need to bring in some guys off the bench? If they get two, then is it done differently there? So I mean, it's going to be an interesting run to see what happens with that one. And I mean, you've got stuff on Tuesday with Olympia and Montreal Impact with theirs, the late game of leg 2 with Tigres and NYCFC, then leg 2 with Atlanta United Club America, and then the late game on Wednesday is the one-off with LAFC and Cruz Azul. And how does Cruz Azul respond after what happened to them in the semifinal where they had the Cruz Azuleada and completely and totally just messed it all up and didn't advance to the final with a 4-0 lead going into the second leg and losing? So what's Cruz Azul's mindset right now going into this one-off with LAFC? I mean, it's really interesting stuff in CONCACAF this week on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah, I mean, the one game that I am not going to be surprised because Olympia Impact. I think Olympia is going to take that game by.
They're up 2-1 on the aggregate, so I could see that. Yeah.
They are at home, which is even worse for Montreal.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting, and we know the story with Tigres. Tigres is the team that destroyed Toronto and to annihilate them from the last.
But I mean, and they're also up 1-0 in the aggregate. And remember, all of this stuff is being played down in Orlando at neutral site. So, I look at Olympia, and I think Olympia will take care of business. I think Tigres will take care of business, and I just of the LAFC Cruz Azul match, I have no idea because of what happened in the Guardianes. So I don't know what's going to happen with Cruz Azul with when they come to play LAFC and Atlanta United. I'm leaving that one out of the discussion because yes, it's a 3-goal deficit right now, but how seriously does Club America take it? And that to me is the bigger question going in.
So I have a surprise for you. It's going to be either next week or the following week.
Okay.
We are going to have a guest with us from South American and world-renowned soccer.
Okay.
We might be having the Rey Pelé on our show.
Nice.
Yes.
Good work.
They have told me that they are going to let us know if it's going to be next Saturday or the following one. I would think that it would be not this coming Saturday because it's prior to Christmas, but for Boxing Day, can you imagine a Boxing Day special with Pele?
Hey, that would, and considering the health issues that he's had recently, to be able to catch up with him, that'd be strong, and I know that the audience would love it.
So let's fly through to Europe, and we are going to start in Germany this time.
Okay.
I think the games being played right now and some of the games that already have transpired are interesting. Uh, Darmount right now, at 90, in the 93rd minute, is being beat by Stuttgart 5-1.
Wow. Wow. I mean, that's midweek coming back to bite you. I mean, that's the only way that I can break it down. I mean, the early game this morning, RB Leipzig came back. They didn't have any problems with Werder Bremen. Stuttgart, to me, that's a stunner. I mean, Stuttgart comes into that one at a plus 570 in the composite. Dortmund, a decided favorite at basically minus 215 to 220, and getting thumped with 5 goals on the board. That's one that I did not anticipate.
Uh, but you know what? I am getting shocked by Dortmund. It's not the same team of last season
No.
at all, at all. Like I mean, last season they were fighting with Bayern to see who was best.
Well, but also, I mean, right now, if you look at results, um, you're right now Dortmund is still a win out of second, and I think that Borussia Mönchengladbach, with them playing European competition right now, you've got Dortmund in European competition right now. RB Leipzig's in European competition right now. It's going to be how you can sit there and gauge yourself and how to use the clutch and the brake and figure out, okay, what do we need to do in certain situations in Europe? And then what do we need to do back home? So, I mean, right now, Leipzig is a win out of first in theory, and it would be temporary, obviously, because they're 2 points behind. I mean, here's your rundown of 1 through 7 coming into today. Bayern, a point ahead of Bayer Leverkusen, 2 points ahead of Leipzig and Wolfsburg. Dortmund is 5th, 4 points back. FCUB is 6th at 16 points, and Mönchengladbach on goal difference is in 7th right now. So it's just, any run of form that can get something done. Obviously, today, when you look at Stuttgart, who's in 8th, this is a big win for them because this would pole vault them into 6th place temporarily. So, but when it comes to all of the European leagues, nothing surprises me because of what they're having to go through in fighting the pandemic, not having fans, all these other factors, and then trying to balance European competition and all of it. But obviously, the numbers of that particular match today, that is a big stunner. But Stuttgart, solid win for them, holding on right now.
So the other interesting match is going to be tomorrow, definitely in Union Berlin against Bayern.
12:30 today.
That's right, 12:30 today. Sorry. It's going to be interesting because Union Berlin can pull an upset. I think.
I mean, they are a massive dog, and that is not a surprise. But to your theory of RB Leipzig and Mönchengladbach and Dortmund, I see your theory, but I think that the one team that might be impervious to that kind of kryptonite might be Bayern. Bayern right now is a minus 300, and FCUB is north of plus 700 in this one. I don't think it'll be the prettiest game in the world at 12:30, but I think that Bayern gets it done. I think that what you might see is a goal on the board early from Bayern, then FCUB ties it, and then Bayern probably just does something with about 15 minutes to go to grind out a result. Some kind of a 1-goal result is what I'm looking at here, considering what Bayern went through in the midweek.
So now that we are done with Bundesliga,
hang on before we go. And one of and if folks haven't had the chance to read the story about Schalke and how Schalke has completely and totally fallen off the grid, Derek Ray has a piece up at ESPN Plus about it. And for those that are big into the Bundesliga. Derek is bar none one of the experts on the planet about the Bundesliga. But Schalke, I want to say that they haven't won in their last 24 matches. And they are 200 million. I want to say they're 200 million euro in the hole. And it is a rough run of form for Schalke right now. And just to give everybody an idea where things are in the standings, Schalke, after the first 10 match weeks, only has 3 draws to their name, 0-3-7. Their goal difference is a minus 25. They've given up 31 goals in 10 matches, in their first 10 matches this season. They've lost their last 3 after drawing. So they have 2 points in their last 5 matches. They had 2 draws, and then they've lost their last 3. But for anybody that wants to look at the fall of a team in the European theater and what it means, and just and especially in this environment, go find the Derek Ray piece and read about Schalke. It is shocking to me how Schalke has fallen where they are. Last year, David Wagner was their head coach. And after coming back from international break, I want to say the January window, everything just fell by the wayside and they plummeted down the standings. They got rid of David Wagner, I think a little later than they probably should have. But Schalke has continued to just not be good, and that's being kind as I phrase it. 0-3-7, and the thing is that they are 2 wins out of the relegation scrap. And remember, relegation is a little different in Germany in the Bundesliga. The bottom 2 teams go to Bundesliga 2. But the team that is second from last goes into a relegation playoff with a team from Bundesliga 2 to see if that team comes in, and the team that finishes 16th goes away. But right now, Schalke, it has been a disaster almost for an entire year for Schalke right now at the bottom of the table, 18th, and it is not pretty.
Oh, for sure. So from Germany, we go to Italy.
Sure.
And it's been interesting to see. I mean, there is a bunch of games, interesting games today. In the match. Probably one of the ones that I will be looking at is Lazio Verona.
Yep.
And probably a Torino Udinese.
Yep. I mean, and that's you look at Crotone got the big win this morning. They were the morning match. And Torino and Udinese, if you're looking for a draw, and I mean literally if you're looking for a draw, looking at the juice boxes on this one, it is dead flat even across the board in the composite. For a composite to have even numbers for both of these teams, that to me just screams that this could be one of the ugliest games of the entire weekend, and it's going to end up being a draw just because of, I have never seen, and I will go ahead and stipulate to this, and of course this could change during the final half hour of the show. This is the first time that in looking at juice boxes, I have seen numbers be absolutely identical for both teams, and they're within 40 points of the draw option. This is one of the wildest things I've ever seen. It's the first time I've seen a dead even number for both sides here with Torino and Udinese. Lazio, obviously, big favorite for the 2:45 Eastern game today.
So tomorrow, there is one game that it's extremely, extremely interesting. And you are going to call me crazy.
Oh, you're crazy.
But the 2:45 game between Parma and Milan, although Milan is the favorite, I still say that it's a good match.
Yeah, because once again, the larger issue is how does Milan treat this one after playing midweek? Obviously it was the end of Europa League competition. and you wanted to try to do what you needed to do at the end of group stage. How does Milan respond as a minus 333, at home going up against Parma? Parma's more, all right, now, seriously, if you have some juice boxes that are just hanging around, like if you got like that aloe flavored juice box and it's like they try to end up with like 9 different flavors, and it's like aloe and it tastes like it tastes like chalk. If you literally have that aloe flavored juice box and you want to put it on Parma at plus 900, go for it.
So there have been a lot of rumors coming out of the Italian league with
Yeah.
regards to Cristiano.
Yeah.
And one of them is him going back to Spain.
Yeah.
Where do you think
I've also heard Manchester United.
Where do you think Juve will let him go that easily?
Yeah, I think so. But I don't think it'll be easy that easily. But I think if the pieces are there, it's probably going to end up being something along the lines of a trade, as we would think of it over here, as opposed to something different. A trade, maybe some cash. Here, let me put this out here. Mino Raiola is running his mouth about Paul Pogba Pogba not wanting to be there anymore at Manchester United. So how about this as an idea? You trade Cristiano Ronaldo to Juve for Paul Pogba. Cash gets figured out one way or the other. Then that happens. Cristiano Ronaldo, you know that Manchester United can pay the transfer fee or pay whatever extra cash is around the corner. They can pay his salary. They know that they're going to be able to get it back when it comes to merchandising and marketing. Pogba, and this is the point that I made on the soccer show yesterday, when Paul Pogba is sitting there and running his mouth about how much more fun he's having playing in France for his national team than he is in England playing for his club team, and you have your agent running his mouth about how Paul wants to leave and all this kind of stuff, and then after being bounced out of Champions League in the group stage and knocking yourself into Europa League after just completely and totally having shambolic defense against RB Leipzig in the last game of group stage. Why should Paul Pogba be any part of what's going on? If Pogba wants to go, fine. There are two places I could think that Pogba would want to go: Real Madrid and Juve. Real Madrid, I don't think they could afford it. It would have to be a trade, and basically it would have to be assets to assets. I think that with Juve, I think that if a trade happens there, and this is in the January window or something like that, or maybe when the season's over, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer or whoever is manager wants to stick it out with Pogba, even though personally I'd sit him. After that outburst from Raiola, I would have sat Paul Pogba. He would not have been a part of the match at the end of group stage against RB Leipzig. But I think that for Cristiano Ronaldo, I think that it would have to be a trade of assets. It wouldn't necessarily be a team that would sit there because, Juve has to look at their books now. Real Madrid is looking at their books. Barcelona still can't make their books. And Manchester United can afford it. So I think that you have to look at who can afford it these days, and it's going to not necessarily be anything straight up with cash. It's probably going to be cash plus trade. So a very long answer to a short question is I think that, yeah, Cristiano Ronaldo could leave Juve, and it's probably Manchester United would be my leading contender.
That would make, wow. If Cristiano Ronaldo returns to the field, because no one knows when that is going to happen. It would be a plus for Man U. A player of his caliber on that squad.
That's the thing. It's like, that you have to look these days. You legitimately have to look at who can afford it when it comes to any kind of asset management. And Barcelona still in a world of hurt. And it doesn't matter what we talk about between now and January 1st. Barcelona cannot make ends meet. They are not paying their players in January on time. They need 200 million euro by January, or they will be bankrupt. or the equivalent. They could be in, what receivership, bankruptcy administration, whatever you want to call it. They're not paying their bills. Barcelona cannot be a part of any discussion when it involves bringing in an asset. It has to be going outbound. And you've heard Frankie de Jong and a couple of others, and you have to figure out where that philosophy is going to go for Barca. Real Madrid can't overstretch their own bounds. And this is what Carmen and I were getting into as a part of the discussion. He thinks that Barcelona can pull it off. I am not sold by any stretch of the imagination because of all the assets that have to be gotten rid of to just get back to zero. So for me, Barcelona is in a world of hurt until further notice, and they really messed up by not disposing of Lionel Messi when they had the chance.
So here comes the question. Now that you brought that up,
Sure.
could we see both Ronaldo and Messi in the Premier League
Sure.
by January?
By January, I don't know. Next season, probably. Could you imagine if you've got Ronaldo at Manchester United and Messi at Manchester City?
That's he won't sleep.
You like apples? You like them apples. But here's one of the wild cards in all of this. Would Messi, with the presidency change after the meeting in January, when they bring in a new president, whoever it is, Ronald Koeman, I think, is dead man walking. This was a bad idea, and you've had folks, and Koeman it has not worked. So you've had folks who, I think Victor Font has said that he wants to bring Xavi in, and has said this from the absolute beginning, that if Victor Font, if he becomes the president of Barcelona, doesn't matter what Koeman's contract is, he's bringing in Xavi. That's it. And I think that you need that kind of attachment back to the history and the success of the past to help navigate things with the fans. Because, I mean, remember when all of this stuff was going on with Lionel Messi and Bartomeu, you had fans protesting outside the Barcelona offices. And I mean, it's like yelling and posters and bullhorns and everything. So I think a lot of this, where Messi is concerned with Barcelona, is going to come down to who is the new president. And you have a lot of guys sitting there and saying stuff in social media. It's like, well, if I was president, then it's this. If I was president, then it's this. And then you got some guys who are just kind of being prudent. It's like, okay, I'd like to be president. We need to fix things. And so it's going to hinge. A lot of Barcelona's future is going to hinge on who becomes the new president for me. And whoever becomes that new president, do they want Messi to be a part of the fabric of the rebuild and the getting a Barcelona back to where they should be when it comes to the standings in La Liga and in European football? Or do they need to make a clean break, work with younger players like Ansu Fati, have that be a part of your build, and say goodbye to a club legend to help you out with your bottom line? Because right now, Manchester City, I think after the summer window, Manchester City said, yeah, we'll give you 15 million after the negotiations, and the window opened up where Messi could sign a pre-contract and go anywhere. So I mean, it's a tall order for Barca right now.
So we are going to the Premier.
Okay, we're going to the Premier. Newcastle just scored, by the way. It looks like Dwight Gale in the 82nd minute. And it is
Tight game.
Newcastle, 2-1 Newcastle now over West Brom. Atlanta folks were watching the match this morning. Miguel Almiron, in what was registered as the second fastest goal in Premier League history in 19.98 seconds. Miguel Almiron got the first goal on the board for Newcastle. This is their first match back after the Aston Villa match was postponed because of COVID-19 concerns. The bench for Newcastle today only has, I think, 7 guys on it, including a backup keeper. So they're not at 100%, but right now they're leading West Brom 2-1 in the 82nd. So what's on your mind?
Let's look at the game earlier today.
Sure.
And you mentioned the team Aston Villa Wolves. It was a filthy, dirty game.
They don't like each other.
Yeah, but that went just beyond. It looked more like a rugby match than it was a football match.
Yeah.
The injuries on the
But
leg.
if you're not going to call it, then you're going to keep pushing that envelope, and that's just how it goes.
It's crazy. It was two red cards within 20 minutes of the match.
One was the second yellow, I think, but yeah, one was a red and one was the second yellow.
Holy moly.
Yeah. Villa, I mean, Villa continues to surprise, and right now, Villa with the win, they're in 8th. But once again, you're a win out of 4th. And I think that, we've made this point about European football this year. You're going to see some atypical results. You're going to see some atypical standings because of teams that played late in the year in European football had to come back early to get back into training camps, to go back into playing both European football and in their league play. And so you look at how things are right now. And I mean, you look at, let's just look at the table in the Prem coming into today. After the Leeds West Ham result from yesterday, which put West Ham in 5th. Tottenham is ahead of Liverpool on goal difference. Tottenham seems to have found their rhythm. Harry Kane and Heung-min Son. I mean, it's really fun to see them work. Tottenham, to me, is one of the favorites in Europa League. Liverpool has had a lot of injuries at the back. I think that they probably are going to reach out to you in the next little while if they have more injuries at the back to see if you can help them out. That's where things are. They're having to go to youth guys and guys that are out of favor with other clubs. Daryl Janmaat, I think, might come in the January window. David Alaba, I think, wants to come in the January window. So it won't be anything expensive. It'll be something if they can do just as a stopgap. We've seen Virgil van Dijk videos of him working out after the knee injury. Thank you, Jordan Pickford. Chelsea, right now, you're seeing the difference with Mendy in net than Kepa. I'm still not sold on Chelsea in the long term. I know that they're going to put balls in the back of the net. I know that they're scoring more than 2 a game. And I know that they can score, but can they defend and can they do it over a full season? Leicester, for me, is another question. Leicester, once again, Europa League. But has Brendan Rodgers learned from his experience from last year where you sprinted out and you got into great positions, you were competitive, you were third, you were hanging out, everything's cool. But then you ran everybody into the ground because you kept taking that same starting 11 out there, and on schedule compression and all that kind of stuff, it caught up with you. Has Brendan Rodgers learned that lesson? I'm not so sure. West Ham, to me, is one of the surprises of the year. I don't know how they've got to where they are. Southampton, because they don't have to focus on European football, and you saw what Danny Ings means to Southampton. I think that you're going to see Southampton contend for European football this year. Manchester United, right now, they're 7th. But once again, they're a win out of 3rd. So you wonder what the patience level is with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And a lot of folks are saying that the Manchester Derby this weekend is the end of the road. If he doesn't win, then it's the end of the line. And they're probably going to bring in Mauricio Pochettino. So we'll see. Villa's in 8th, Everton in 10th, and then you get to the folks at the bottom of the table. Obviously, Arsenal, one of the biggest shocks right now, they're in 15th. But Wolves, I think that the injury to Jimenez, you're seeing what the difference is. And Villa, it's feast or famine with them. It's either a win or a loss. They don't have any draws at all this season. And Jack Grealish, I know he's going to be a hot commodity.
So you mentioned the derby today at 12:30. That is one of the key matches aside from the Everton Chelsea game.
Yeah.
So that are the games because Liverpool has an easy time with Fulham.
Yep.
Tottenham, Crystal Palace. I think Tottenham is going to take it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, that derby at 12:30 is going to be a bloodbath.
And this is what surprises me in all of this. When you're looking at the juice boxes here, Manchester United a plus 370, Manchester City a minus 139. If I had another aloe juice box, I might put it on Manchester United just because of the sheer madness of the disparity of the numbers. Yes, I think that Manchester City is uh, the better team, and there was talk this morning that they might be chasing after Holland and might activate the $90 million release clause and try to bring him in the January transfer window because they're looking at the future after Sergio Aguero. So if you bring in somebody like Holland, you've got him set there for the next couple of years. It's Holland, it's Foden, Sterling, De Bruyne. So, I mean, you're looking at another all-star team if Manchester City can pull this off. So, and then Manchester United by comparison, since they can't get Jadon Sancho, they're looking at Ashley Barnes from Leicester. So, okay. Yeah, should it be a bloodbath because both were in European football midweek? I don't think it's going to be a bloodbath. I think it's probably going to be one of those one-goal games, but it should be 2-1, 3-2, something like that. But it'll be an interesting watch at 12:30.
So let's head to the next. We'll do this. We'll have to run through this one quickly. And that's La Liga.
Right on.
Games already yesterday. Valladolid beat Osasuna 3-2. Today, Athletic tied with Valencia, which I was very surprised about. Right now, Getafe is tied with Sevilla. Sevilla has been crumbling as of late.
Right.
But the one game
3:00
that
3:00.
Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid.
Mm-hmm. I believe the adjective to refer to that one is juicy.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, you look at Real Madrid, and for me, I think that it's almost a weekly thing with us having the discussion of, okay, is Zinedine Zidane fired yet? He gets out of the group stage in Champions League, and considering the result against Shakhtar earlier in group, just the run of form that Real Madrid has had. And I mean, could you have pictured a worse game to have in league play coming back from Europe and all of the madness of your group stage, and then you're going up against Atleti in a rivalry match? So, and here's the deal right now. Atleti, they have a couple of matches in hand because of international competition. Atleti has played 10 matches this year. Here's your trivia question for the morning. How many goals has Atleti given up in domestic competition so far this season?
Good question.
It ain't a lot.
Yeah.
That's your hint. It ain't a lot.
So I have a question for you because I am looking at the schedule.
Yeah. Two. I got to go with Atleti here, even though they're the dog. I've got to go with Atletico Madrid.
So Real Madrid.
Yeah.
This week, if we count today as the start of the week, okay, has 5 games in a week. They play today, they play Tuesday, they play Thursday, and then they play Sunday.
Oh, is it like cup competitions and stuff?
So they play today against Atletico Madrid. They play Athletic Club on Tuesday.
Bilbao, right?
Bilbao.
Yeah.
They play Thursday in Champions, and then they play Sunday against where was it? Then they play Sunday. It was Sunday.
Ibar.
Ivar.
Oh goodness.
How do you? How does a league not realize that these guys are traveling out of town on Tuesday after the game on Tuesday night because it's Tuesday night to play Thursday internationally, and then you bring them back and you give them another game?
Well, but I mean, you're looking at, even if you look at it domestically, I mean, let's just look at it domestically for a second. You're looking at 3 matches in 8 days domestically, and it's Atleti, it's Bilbao, and it's Ibar. And I think that the schedule makers kind of wanted to help out here to get the, and this is how La Liga is getting everybody back in line with their schedules before you get into festive fixtures, because you've got Real playing today, Barcelona's playing tomorrow, and then Barcelona plays once again. You've got what? Tuesday is Real and Bilbao. Wednesday is Barca Real Sociedad. So, gee, thanks for scheduling that one midweek. And then they come back on the weekend. Barcelona comes back and plays the short game and plays a week from today against Valencia, where Real plays a week from tomorrow against Ibar. And I mean, that's madness, but I understand it because of what you did is you're robbing Peter to pay Paul here from what happened in the international competition early to get you to schedule things and push stuff back later. And so right now, here's how it looks. To get those international teams back online, you have to do this kind of stuff because basically everybody's played either 11 or 12 going into this weekend. Atleti's played 10. They've won 5 in a row. And also it is Sociedad still in second, but then Real Madrid has 1 match in hand. They're 6 points back of Atleti in 4th. And then you're getting all of this other madness down. Sevilla's got 2 matches to make up. Barcelona's got 2 matches to make up. They're in 9th, only on goal difference. Elche's got 2 matches to make up because of everybody else that they have to play. So it's madness right now in La Liga. But once again, you come out of this next weekend. By the time we're talking about this next week, we'll have a good idea as to where things are with La Liga.
Well, John, I want to thank you. I missed you last week. I know you were driving.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, you don't want me talking to you behind the wheel of a car. It's bad form.
So I thank you very much for today and for always rescuing me with some of my soccer knowledge.
It's all good. I get the
and just want to let everybody know out there that this show can be heard on the Barn Burner Radio Network and its 122 platforms on social media. Remember to go to our website, barnburner.ca, for all the news, whether they are written, audio, video. You can download them down there, see what the shows that you missed. OSG Sports at the forefront of our downloadables. And remember, Barn Burner, watch it, hear it, listen, download, but especially leave it, because Barn Burner is sports and sports is Barn Burner. And remember, either this week or next week, we'll have soccer's second greatest player along the line. Pele will be with us in the next 2 weeks. For John Freeman Nelson, this has been Eduardo Harari for Spanglish Sports World. We'll catch you next Saturday at this same time in this same bad channel.